My friend, have you ever wondered, why is it that the Jewish people, such a small nation that has endured unimaginable suffering, are now among the wealthiest, wisest, and most influential in the world? The answer lies in mindset. It's no coincidence that more than one-third of the world's billionaires, brilliant minds like Einstein, and financial tycoons all come from Jewish roots. Today, I want to take you on a journey to discover the reverse thinking of the Jewish people, how they turn failure, weakness, and adversity into strength, into wealth, and into resilience. This is not theory from books. These are principles tested and proven over centuries, written in real stories. And if you stay with me until the end of this video, you may completely change the way you look at failure and at life itself. If you're searching for a breakthrough in your own journey, then stay until the end. And don't forget to follow RICHMIND Hack, so that every day we can plant one more seed of wisdom, wealth, and freedom together. Now, let me reveal a secret, one that almost every wealthy person in the world applies, but the majority completely ignore. It's not capital, it's not luck, it's not connections. It's about the way they ask questions, questions that sound almost backwards. And this way of thinking has been practiced by the Jewish people for thousands of years. While most people ask, how do I avoid failure? It sounds reasonable, right? Everyone wants safety. Everyone wants a smooth road without mistakes, without pain. But the Jewish ask the opposite. If I fail, what can I learn? And how can I use that failure to move forward? Just one small shift in the question, and it opens up an entirely different world. Think about it. If you spend your whole life only avoiding risks, aren't you missing out on the greatest opportunities? Take investing, for example. Many people don't dare to invest because they're afraid of losing money. But in reality, not trying is the greatest loss of all. Meanwhile, the Jewish mindset is this. If I lose money, I'll just purchase a lesson that no school in the world could teach me. And that lesson will make me far richer in the future. Do you know how many times Thomas Edison failed before inventing the light bulb? Over 10,000 times. Most people saw him as foolish. But Edison said something that made the whole world bow in respect. I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Failure didn't take anything away from him. On the contrary, it turned him into one of the greatest inventors in history. This is exactly the Jewish way of thinking. Failure is not an ending, it's an investment. So let me ask you, are you letting the fear of failure stop you from starting? How many times have you abandoned your dreams just because you felt not good enough? And have you realized that very fear is what's silently eating away at your opportunities every single day? From years of working with entrepreneurs and investors, I've seen a truth. The most successful people are not the smartest. They are simply the ones who can endure failure the best. Jewish parents teach their children from a young age. If you fail, you've lost nothing. You're only paying tuition to the school of life. That's why they grow up brave, willing to try, willing to stumble, willing to make mistakes. And in the end, they become stronger, wealthier, and wiser, simply because they've learned more than others. So take a moment and look back at your own life. If there was a failure that once broke your heart, ask yourself today, what lesson did I actually gain from that? And if I could go back, how would I use it differently? When you dare to ask the reverse question, failure stops being your enemy. It becomes your greatest teacher, harsh, but always fair. Remember this, the smart person is not the one who avoids every failure. It's the one who uses failure to move faster and further. So if you want wealth, if you want to stand firm in the storms of life, then from this moment on, stop asking, how do I avoid failure? And start asking, when I fail, what can I learn so that next time I'll do even better? Sometimes all it takes is one different question, and your entire life takes a new direction. This is the Jewish reverse mindset, the wealth secret they've carried for centuries. And once you dare to ask those reverse questions, you'll start seeing the world through an entirely new lens. But that alone is not enough. The Jewish people teach us something even more powerful. Don't run away from your weaknesses, because those very weaknesses can become your greatest strength. Have you ever felt weighed down by your flaws? Maybe your voice doesn't sound good. Maybe your appearance isn't outstanding. Maybe you grew up poor, or you never excelled in school. I used to believe those were excuses that kept me from success. But when I studied the Jewish mindset, I realized something life-changing. Your weakness is not a curse. It's fertile ground waiting to be cultivated. The Jewish don't hide their flaws. They learn to transform them into something that makes them stand out. Think about it. If your voice is raspy, instead of feeling ashamed, you can use it to tell stories and create a signature sound. If you're poor, that very lack can train your creativity, resourcefulness, and frugality, the foundation of future wealth. Weakness is not a chain that holds you back. It's like a stone in the road. You can stop and complain, saying, "I can't move forward because of this rock." Or you can lift that stone, set it down as a step, and climb higher. The Jewish always choose the second way. Look at some of the world's most successful entrepreneurs. Many of them started from rock bottom. Steve Jobs, abandoned at birth. Jack Ma failed his university exam twice, rejected from 30 jobs. But they didn't let their weaknesses define them. Instead, they turned them into fuel. The Jewish believe weakness is simply the hidden side of an untapped strength. And when you finally uncover the value hidden inside it, you'll rise like a compressed spring releasing its full power. So here's my question for you. Do you dare to face your weaknesses and turn them into something that makes you irreplaceable? Isn't it fascinating? Instead of fearing or hiding their flaws, they transform them into a brand. But to do that, there's a deeper foundation required: wisdom. Because without wisdom, every advantage is temporary. There are things in life you can lose overnight: money, property, fame. But there's one thing no one can ever take from you: your wisdom. For the Jewish people, wisdom is the greatest form of wealth, the only asset that can't be stolen. Imagine this. If one day you lost everything, what would you still have left to rebuild? If you had money but no knowledge, you would eventually lose it all. But if you had wisdom, you could rebuild your entire life from zero. This is why the Jewish invest so heavily in education, reading, learning, and research. There's a famous saying, "When you give me money, you lose it. But when you give me wisdom, you still keep it." The Jewish understand this better than anyone. They build intellectual wealth to pass down from generation to generation. And that is the only kind of wealth that multiplies infinitely, immune to inflation, untouched by economic crisis. So ask yourself, are you truly investing in your wisdom? Or are you chasing after things that disappear overnight? Every book you read, every skill you learn, every lesson you extract from failure, that's pure gold that no one can ever take from you. Wisdom is like a lamp that lights your path. And it's this wisdom that allows the Jewish to do something most people can't: see opportunity in the middle of danger. This is a secret many of the world's wealthiest quietly admit. Most people, when faced with hardship, retreat. But the Jewish are different. When danger comes, they don't just see risk. They look deeper, asking, what hidden opportunity is here that others cannot see? During economic crises, while companies collapse, some Jewish entrepreneurs use the moment to acquire assets at bargain prices. In times of war and instability, they still find ways to adapt and create value. They don't stop at fear. They go one layer deeper. Take Warren Buffett, a legendary investor of Jewish descent. When the stock market crashed and everyone else panicked, selling off in fear, Buffett went in and bought. And in those moments of mass fear, he quietly built a fortune. Your life works the same way. When one door closes, what do you see? Just the darkness? Or the chance to step into a new path? The Jewish believe the greatest opportunities are often hidden in the greatest crises. But to truly see opportunities, you must first have the right attitude toward failure. Most people treat failure as the end of the road, but the Jewish see it as one of the most valuable assets in life, capital that no money can buy. Does failure scare you? How many times have you told yourself, maybe this isn't for me, I should just quit? The Jewish think differently. To them, every failure is an investment. Every time you stumble, you don't lose, you gain a lesson. The more you fail, the richer your capital of experience becomes. They always ask themselves, if I fail, what valuable lesson will I receive in return? And then they reinvest those lessons into future success. Picture a child learning to walk. It falls hundreds of times before it can stand firm. If it quit after the 50th fall, would it ever run today? Life as an adult is no different. Failure is nothing more than the practice steps on the road to success. So here's the question for you. Do you see failure as the end or as an investment for tomorrow? From those very failures, the Jewish learn to look far beyond the present moment. They know that a small loss today can be exchanged for a magnificent victory tomorrow. This is what separates the wealthy from the poor. Most people chase short-term gains, a comfortable job, quick money, instant pleasure. But the Jewish choose the opposite. They are willing to sacrifice in the short run to reap sustainable rewards in the long run. For example, instead of spending all their income, they save and invest. Instead of rushing into work just for quick cash, they focus on learning and building skills. Because they understand the true measure is not how much do I have today, but who will I become 5 or 10 years from now. So let me ask you, are you willing to let go of small, temporary gains in order to wait for something much greater? Do you have the patience to plant seeds, nurture them, and wait for the harvest, instead of demanding fruit right away? That is the mindset of sustainable wealth the Jewish have carried for generations. And to protect that long-term vision, they master a very special skill, the art of negotiation. The Jewish are not only skilled in business, they excel at creating win-win agreements and holding their advantage in every game. Have you ever wondered why so many Jewish people rise to the top in business, finance, and law? It's because they have a unique ability, the power to negotiate. They're not only good at working hard, they're brilliant at sitting down at the table. For them, value doesn't just come from the product you create. It comes from how you negotiate to secure your position and ensure mutual success. In every deal, they don't just ask, what do I get? They also ask, what does the other side get? Because they know only win-win relationships can last. And that's why they often build networks of lifelong partners, not just short-term connections. So I'll leave you with this. Have you ever trained yourself in the art of negotiation? Because sometimes the difference between success and failure is not about who is more talented. It's about who can negotiate better. But there's one thing that truly makes the Jewish people different. They are not afraid of being alone. When the crowd moves in one direction, they dare to walk the other way. And it is exactly this difference that allows them to see what others miss. So let me ask you, if everyone around you is walking one way, would you have the courage to turn your back and go the opposite direction? The Jewish understand one powerful truth. If you only follow the crowd, you will only have what the crowd has. When the world chooses safety, they choose calculated risk. When others cling tightly to money, they invest. When most people fear change, they see it as a chance to break through. Difference never comes from blending in. It comes from daring to stand out. The Jewish choose to think differently, walk differently, live differently. And that is why they build lasting success. Of course, going against the crowd is never easy. It takes courage. It takes confidence in your own wisdom. But when you combine all these principles, you begin to see a bigger picture, a golden key that can unlock the door to success. My friend, everything I've shared today is not to make you admire the Jewish people, but to help you realize one lesson. Success comes from your ability to turn adversity into advantage. Weakness, failure, risk, these are not enemies. They are opportunities in disguise. The Jewish have proven this for thousands of years. And so can you. So the next time you face hardship, ask yourself the reverse question. What can I learn here? How can I turn this into my advantage? Because when you change the way you look at things, your whole life begins to change. You see, the Jewish mindset is not magic. It's simply a way of asking different questions, seeing from a different angle, yet powerful enough to change destiny itself. If you learn how to ask the reverse question, turn weakness into strength, treat failure as capital, and dare to go against the crowd, then you already hold the key to unlock a brand new chapter of your life. And perhaps the most important message I want to leave you with today is this. Never be afraid of mistakes. Never be afraid of losses. The real fear is not daring to take a step forward. The Jewish are wealthy because they can see light even in the darkest times. And now, I ask you, what about you? Are you ready to begin that journey today? If you believe that mindset shapes destiny, leave a comment below and share your thoughts. And don't forget to hit subscribe and follow RICHMIND Hack. So every day, we can learn timeless wisdom together and turn it into your personal power. I'm Ivo. See you in the next video.